Hi, Prep Class of 2022 and families. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Today is the St. Patrick's Day, March 17th College Placement Discussion Series. Today we're going to go over a few things, and it's going to be the first time that you're going to have things to do, things that have deadlines attached to them. There's going to be things for our students and also for the parents. You have something as well. All right. So what we're going to do is go through spring college planning items. And we're also going to kind of take a look into the future at some of the summer things to keep an eye on, and also kind of take a look backwards to make sure that our students have done what they've needed to do and families have done what they needed to do. And if they haven't, they could still get on that and still be in great shape. So the first thing I want to talk about is teacher recommendations, how that process is going to work. It's a two-part process. One part I want you to focus on now. The other part you don't have to focus on till later. Our teachers understand this process well. They are going to be forward this discussion series, the notes that we have, so they are in the know about the timing and what our class of 2022 needs to do for the teacher recommendation process. Part one is getting your ducks in a row. It's figuring out which teachers to ask, why, okay? And then after that, it's securing them. The second piece of it won't happen until the fall of senior year, where we will start to get into the processes and procedures and documents and things that you need to give your teachers, so not just so they can support you in general, but so they can position you and put together the best possible support, which hopefully will get you the best possible outcomes. Okay, they are a vital part of this process. And I want to be clear about our teachers. This isn't a transaction. Okay, and what I mean by that is, for the students, you need to realize that you get what you give in this process. You need to give a lot of information to your teachers. You need to give them an understanding of what your goals are. So the closer you are with them and giving them an understanding of what your goals are and what you might do in the future, the better off you'll be. Okay, and the support that they write will be a byproduct of that. So the first part of this I'm going to go through is prior to the end of this academic year. All right, and I've put recommended deadlines at the end of each one of these tasks. This is really an end of the year, before last day of school. You need to secure a commitment from at least 2 teachers to support you in the process. All right, pretty much every school in the country, no college will require more than 2 recommendations. Now, there are some that will need none. There are some that will require 1. Some of them will require 2. Some of them will require 1 or 2 and allow up to 5. We really focus on the number 2. All right, 2 covers everything, and 2 is a good amount of support. All right, so the first process is to secure your teachers. Now, under the current circumstances, the way that you'll do it is a little different. In the past, we would tell students that they had to approach in person each teacher. We wanted them to have a conversation. That still can be the case depending on if you are in school. All right. If you are not in school and you're remote, you can also do this via email or the portal. All right. So either way is fine, and the teachers have an understanding of that. The other thing, most common question that I get from students is, well, Mr. Laster, how do I do this? How do I ask them? The key is, we will advise you on the right way to do it. You want to schedule time with the teacher. You want to be able to talk with them. All right. As I said, this is not transactional. It's about support. All right. Getting the best support. So we can always tell you about the right ways to do that, and coach you on communication if need be. All right. The second bullet here says, remember to think about the quality of your relationships. When we start this, the first and most important part of this process is what is written in the support. And that's a byproduct of the relationship you have with the teacher. All right, so that's really the relationship is important, okay? That's very important. Now, there are some general criteria that we have that we want you to follow, and then hopefully you could find teachers within that criteria where you have the best relationships, all right? The first thing is, we want you to focus on teachers, all right, that are in core subjects, and I talk about it a little bit down here. All right, English, math, science, history, foreign language. As I said, it's a good rule of thumb to ask 2 teachers. All right, So I will have some students that will say, well, I really want this one, these two, and they're both electives. As much as they may be a great relationship and well-intentioned, that's not exactly what colleges are looking for. Having two from core subjects and maybe a third is an elective, okay, that works. If a school requires one and then maybe another one in the process is an elective, that's okay. But we really first want to point you towards these areas. Although junior year is great and ideal, we understand that not every student is going to have the most outstanding relationships in that year. So you can go to sophomore year as well. Freshman year is only okay if they are teaching you again in senior year. Okay, you have built somewhat of a relationship and they can kind of see you full circle. But ideally is junior year, and then you can go down to sophomore year, focusing on core subjects. I speak a little bit about, thinking about what you want to major in. That's another wrinkle to this. Obviously, if you're going to study something in communications, you might want someone who can speak to your writing ability. Maybe it's English or history. You may want to do something in foreign affairs, where it might be beneficial for someone to speak about how you've done in foreign language. All right, so there's a lot of layers to this. There is no one size fits all. We give you general parameters, and then we expect to have discussions with students saying, hey, Mr. Lester, I'm thinking of doing this or that, these two teachers. And you'll say, okay, good and good. All right, so we really will take it on a case-by-case basis. This is not something where every student is the same. So like most college advisement, we usually will have to have some type of discussion, and students can ask us those questions. Okay? All right. So when does this have to be done by? As I said, we put June 1st as a goal. All right. Why is it important to get it done before then? Our teachers might want to write over the summer. Okay. The other thing is they might want to build more of a relationship with you and ask you more questions. It also allows them to manage their schedules and manage how many students they might have to write for. We have some students that will write 2 recs, and we have teachers that this year that wrote 45. So we really need to be mindful and respectful of their schedules. And trust me, teachers appreciate students that respect their schedules. Okay? The next thing that we will ask for, which also, as you will see, has a similar deadline. All of these 3 things we're going to talk about have the same deadline of basically June 1st, which is on or around towards the end of school, all right, is submitting your student brag sheet. Our job as college counselors is to position you the best that we possibly can for the schools you're interested in. And a lot of that is understanding who you are, what you're looking for, not just about how you'd be a good fit at a school, but how you might be a good fit at certain programs within the school. Understanding the scope of everything that has made you you from freshman year on, accentuating your positives, talking about your strengths, talking about your achievements, everything like that. The student brag sheet is one way outside of our individual meetings where we get you to put that on paper. When I talk to students about the brag sheet, I tell them, act as if you're having a conversation and it's just us. Tell me, everything. Really take your time with it. I say all the time, you get what you give in this process. The more information and the more seriousness you show, the less we're having to grab at straws to get information from you. Remember, we work and partner in this together. We're trying to get the best support behind you, and we can't do that without a great, well-written, in-depth student brag sheet. The student brag sheet is in Naviance, and I give you instructions down in this section about where to find it. The reason why we want it before the summer ends, before the school year ends, is we may want to write over the summer. We need flexibility. For someone like myself, I have roughly 85 students in my caseload. So I have to be very tactful about how I write and when I write, and it's important to have that flexibility. So by that time, the brag sheet should be submitted. Common question is, well, Mr. Laster, I'm doing this amazing stuff over the summer and in the fall, and I feel like if I submit the brag sheet, I'm not going to be able to let you know all this stuff. Don't worry about it, okay? Anything that you do in the future can be emailed to us. If you do anything in the summer that's exciting or awesome, and by chance you didn't include it, email it to us, all right? However we get it is fine, all right? But I want to be clear. No college counselor will write your support without a brag sheet. It's just not going to happen. All right? Because it wouldn't be beneficial to you. And that's really what we're all about. The next thing, for our parents, you will also have your forum to discuss. Now, this is a hiccup every year. The parent brag sheet is not in Naviance. Okay? It is not in Naviance. The students is done through Naviance and submitted. I will send parents the parent brag sheet. It is a list of questions for you to answer. Common questions from parents. Well, do we do one together, or do we do separate ones? Totally up to you. I have had parents that have done one uniform brag sheet as parents and said, this is our support together. I have had situations where parents have said, I did one and, spouse did another one. So it's really up to you if you're in that situation, how you want to handle it. Eventually you will write it. It'll be in a Word doc and you will email it directly to the college counselor by June 1st. Okay. So your deadline is the same as the student's deadline. So as you can see, these three things, all the deadlines are the same. So right now we're giving students more than enough time we're in March, April, May, June, where they can tactfully take care of these items. It's not overwhelming, and they're doing a nice bit of setup duty. All right. During junior year, I've told families that this is really a lot of the practice and the setup for the game. Once we get to the end of the summer, kind of into the summer and the start of fall, that's when the game really starts. Okay. All right. So a couple other things that I just want to reiterate. So kind of looking backward. The first is, if you have not scheduled your introductory meeting with your college counselor, please do so as soon as possible. Okay. I have 85 students, I believe, in my caseload, and I've had 52 meetings, which is a lot. Okay. But that means there's still a lot of students that are out there. The same metrics will be roughly for whether it's Mr. Vitale or Mr. Barnett or any of the other college counselors. Okay. So if you have not, schedule it as soon as possible. You were sent an email in the portal in the beginning of January, and it was from who your college counselor was, telling you exactly how to schedule a meeting. So if you need to go back and take a look at that in the portal. It was sent to every student and any parent or guardian that was inside the system. Okay. That being said, if you've had your first meeting and now you're off and running, it's up to you. As a student, you drive the process. You could schedule second meetings and third meetings whenever you see fit. This is student driven, all right? So once we get done with the first meeting, we expect the students to take the reins, all right? It'll be that much sweeter in the end when you garner great outcomes, and you've put in a lot of work. Building and refining your college essay. Every English teacher is different in terms of their timeline of when they will have students write the college essay. My last session that I did with you was solely on the college essay, and I made it clear that our process was, it's written in English class, and then eventually it gets down to your college counselor. Then we talk about it and we see if it's something you want to move forward with. If your teacher assigned you multiple prompts, we could look at those. If you want to scrap it, we are fully prepared to retake you through the topic generation process, revision, and finalizing. So no matter what, we want to keep you moving forward. Okay. So if you have not done the college essay in English yet, that is not a problem. All right. Every teacher has their discretion on when they want to do it, whether that is in January or in May. Okay. And then, of course, I won't go into too much detail, but building, refining, and working with your college list. All right, that is an ongoing thing. And you'll see that I put the recommended deadline for, finalizing your list is by August 1st or the return to school in senior year. Now, I know that is aggressive. And I know that a lot of students are going to be adding and deducting schools in the fall. That is perfectly common. But I think it's good for your families at least to have a goal to have most of your list ready. And I expect this to take a lot longer for the class of 22, and I expect it to spread into the fall, mainly because it's tougher for visitation. And without a lot of visitation and, those types of feelings that you're going to have when you're on campus, it's harder to build a criteria and build a list. So we do understand that. All right. So in the future, just to recap, we have teacher recommendation requests and securing them. We have the student brag sheet, the parent brag sheet. If you have not scheduled your introductory meeting, please do so ASAP. If you are looking for follow-up meetings, you can schedule them, students, with your college counselor. And then outside of that, keep an eye out. If you've done your essay, you can refine it, keep moving, get it to your college counselor with a goal of getting it done by pretty much the summer. And then also just keep an eye on your list building. And outside of that, I hope everybody has a terrific St. Patrick's Day, and looking forward to moving this process in the right direction. All right. Thanks so much.